Personally, it's tempting to pitch Oilers versus Kings as star power versus structure. Such narratives are pretty juicy, offense versus defense, the scrappy Kings trying to slow down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. However, the Oilers' underlying numbers aren't that far behind that of the 5-on-5 majesty of the Kings, especially since Jay Woodcroft took over as Edmonton's head coach. Since Woodcroft replaced Dave Tippett around February 10th, the Oilers are 26-9-3, and that's good for a .724 points percentage, the NHL's third best mark behind the Panthers and Flames. No other team reached a points percentage above .684 besides the Bruins and Blues during that span. Welcome back to today's episode, everyone. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button and turn notifications so you know when I publish next. With all that out the way, let's get into today's episode. All things considered, the Los Angeles Kings have handled life without Drew Doughty extremely well. That said, matchups are key in the NHL playoff pressure cooker, and some young Kings defensemen could be thrown into the fire against McDavid, Draisaitl, and the rest of the Oilers' top scorers. Since Doughty's latest injury absence, the Kings have leaned on a group of defensemen, including two relatively unknown rookies in Sean Durzi and Jordan Spence. When you consider just how unforgiving the NHL can be to defensemen learning the ropes, it's pretty awe-inspiring to see Durzi and Spence thrive to such a degree, especially in their own ends. With such scant NHL resumes, it's dangerous to jump to too many conclusions, but it sure feels like Durzi and Spence could give the Kings some nice steals beyond their most hyped prospects. The best rebuilds tend to unearth premium prospects after high-profile first-rounders like Durzi, who was 52nd overall in round 2 in 2018, and Spence, who was 95th overall in round 4 in 2019. Even if the Kings lean on more experienced defensemen like Matt Roy, Oli Mata, and Troy Stecher against tippy-top Oilers scorers, it should be fascinating to watch Durzi and Spence in such high-intensity environments. All of that said, the Oilers might have the most intriguing young defenseman of the bunch in Evan Bouchard. Ultimately, the Kings really must hope that their structure will allow them to smother the Oilers at even strength. If the series is decided by special teams, Edmonton figures to have a huge advantage. Considering how the Kings appear a little ahead of schedule in their rebuild, they shouldn't be too ashamed of the Oilers' advantage. But it's undeniable. With a 26% success rate, the Oilers' power play ranked third best in the NHL this season. The Kings, meanwhile, sat 6th worst in power play percentage with 16.1. Interestingly, the Oilers' penalty kill, 79.4%, was also more effective than that of the Kings, 76.7%. Los Angeles must really hope that officials put their whistles away, just like they did when they ignored the Jets' infractions on Connor McDavid during that sweep last year. I'd say that the Oilers will eliminate the Kings in just 6 games. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a wonderful day.